Today, let's look at a scene from a Captain Crunch commercial. I'm not sure who did the animation. This is the folder. It says "Give me the names," which is the dialogue that Jean Lafoot will say to Captain Crunch. It's scene 5. BG1 will be a reuse. And the names Phil and Diane are here. Someone wrote checked here, so the checker has gone through it. Over here it says 2 stats, 1 1/16 inches across. And what that is are these little tiny color photographs of the Captain Crunch box. In this case, there's 2 boxes. So let me take this out of the folder. And this is what those stats look like. They're inside a little tissue folder here. And you can see the Captain Crunch box was Jean Lafoot on the cover. Cinnamon Crunch, I guess. So that's what's used in the commercial. Now here is the exposure sheet. And I guess the name of the commercial is "Give Me the Names." And as you can see, it's got a space for the production number, the sequence, and the scene. Apex Stationers, I guess, is who made the printing for the X sheets. It says sheet number 8, scene 5. The scene is 4 feet and 14 frames long. The scene is animated here in Los Angeles. Let's see how long the sheet is. It's 16 frames. There's 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. So that's what kind of sheets Jay Ward used. We used those at Pantomime, as I recall. Also, we had 6-foot long sheets. So over here on the left side of the sheet, someone has cut and pasted blue X sheet in the action and dialogue column. Notice here on these sheets, it just says dialogue. It does not have a spot for the lip assign, which would be EXP on the other sheets. That's because the animators here would do their exposure, their lip assign themselves, and to have it done on the drawing. No need to have that explained for an overseas guy. Here we see our columns. They put an extra column at top and bottom, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 columns across. The extra usually is for the background, which they've written in red, BG1, and then they wrote extra stuff up here. Background 1 from scene 1, 9 field center to west, which means that the background will be centered first and then moved over 2 increments to the west. It says at position for scene 5, cameraman with an exclamation point, hand move the stats on guide cells, ST1. So there's a stack of cells or paper with ST1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 12. And that has like a marking for the cameraman so he can hand move those stats of the cereal boxes along with the animation. Over here, we see the director's writing for what he wants the characters to do and when. Cut to medium close-up Lafoot talking, his back turned to Captain Crunch. Captain is sneaking out of the scene. Now, these X's here, usually that would mean footsteps. And here's the dialogue. It starts with an inhale, and Jean Lafoot is speaking, and he says, and it takes 7 frames for him to say the word and. Nobody, and you see it's broken down phonetically. So it's not NOBODY, it's NOHBODEE, because that's what it sounds like. nobody can have it. So can is spelled not C-A-N, but K-A-N, because it's a hard k sound. And Jean Lafitte would say av, because he would drop the H and would say nobody can have it, can have eat. But me, and the word me is stretched out. He inhales again and says, give me Ozo's name. Here we see the director has written, captain should be out of the scene by here, or going towards the side to exit. Lafitte thumps his chest. He whirls around and grabs captain back in the scene. And we want multiple images there, maybe. Then he releases the captain and points up to the sky. The scene starts. For this type of animation, the guy just draws a dark line across. It doesn't have to be red. These numbers here are the running footage through the commercial. So that's 24 frames, 24 feet, 6 frames, 25 feet, 26 feet, 27, and on and on. These numbers here are the numbers for the action of Jean Lafitte and Captain Crunch. They're combined all in the same level. And it goes 1 to 39. And at the bottom of the sheet, you just write cut and draw a dark line. So that's this commercial. Now the scene is given to the camera department like this. And there's instructions on it. I only have the drawing for number 1. I don't have a cell for it. There's a note to somebody, Betty, can you make the guides on separate cells, call them ST1, etc. for the hand moves. Here's where the stat for the serial box will go, right in here. And we see Jean Lafitte, and Captain Crunch here. This says 1 to 39, and then there's a rectangle with a dash, a dot, and a dash. That means everything's going to be just a held shot, no pan, everything all in one sheet of paper, 12 field paper. So this is how it's given to camera. Camera takes this, and if they're shooting a pencil test, they're just shooting the drawings. If they're shooting the color, they're putting the pencil drawing aside and shooting the cell. So here's the cell for drawing number 2, and here's drawing number 2. And these look to be hand-inked cells. So someone had to draw with a Crowquill pen all of these lines, the black lines, for each character. They then turn the cell over and paint on the reverse side all the colors. And the reason you do that is because by doing that, you then have a nice clean black line to differentiate all the color spots, instead of what this looks like, which is just a jumble of color. So that's what the reverse side of the animation cell looks like. And all of these get sent to camera. Cameraman puts each one down one at a time. And what he does is he has a glass plate called a platen, flattens the cell out against the background. He clicks a button, usually with his foot, and that takes the picture. Then he raises the platen up, usually also with his other foot, takes it out, puts down the next drawing, which would be number 3. They would usually have canned air and blow the dust off, put the platen down again, click with the other foot for the frame advance, take a picture with the camera, which is up where this camera is. And it goes on like that throughout the scene. So here we see the captain looks. Oh, how about that? There's drawing number 1. So let's move that out. So he's looking to sneak out. You see him turning. You see Jean talking. Turns his head back. Drawing 8, 9, 10. Captain's still sneaking. He throws the box up. As he throws it up, he turns. And he catches the box. And he's leaning back, holding the box. So we're going to skip ahead here. And it looks like he's raising his foot to move out. And he's taking a leap. Let's look at the drawing just before that to see how he got to that pose. So here he is, about to jump. And you see the difference in the drawing there. As he stretches his foot out. He stretches his arm out very fast to grab the captain. Now the reason that we don't see his hand here and here is because that's the cutoff. By moving our field over 2 frames, this is where the camera, that's all the camera will see is that. So you don't want to draw or paint anything beyond that. So now he drags the captain back into the scene. And now we're coming to the end of the shot. And this is where he points up in the air and turns, and that's the end of the scene. So that's what an old-fashioned commercial looks like. And this is from sometime back in the 80s. I don't recall seeing this commercial, but I think Ben Washam gave this scene to my wife many, many years ago when the 2 of us used to take his class after work about how to do animation. And so I just rediscovered them and started looking at them again. And I wanted to share them with you guys. So maybe next time I'll do another scene and take it apart so we can see the drawings. So you can see what hand-drawn animation used to look like. Until then, keep drawing and we'll see you next time.